Nothing in this podcast is intended as investment advice, and the people in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to the Midweek Takeaway. Today we're joined by Tony Calamita, CEO of Hemp. Welcome back, Tony. It's good to have you back on. How's life treating you?
Yeah, thanks for having me back, Phil. Life's treated me well. It's quite hot and humid, but other than that, I'm a very happy bunny.
Good. Well, we've just seen the sales and operational update released to market, where I guess the main highlights were the half two sales up 11% from H1 and operating costs reduced significantly, and also 2 new major retail listings agreed. Do you want to add anything to these points?
Yeah, so, when we released the H1 results earlier in the year, we were clear that they were disappointing and we weren't happy. And, one of the main things that happened this year is we went through that major operational review. It's been really transformational for the business. And, some of the highlights, the tangible effects, results of that operational review are already transpiring in the announcement that went out this morning. So, revenue did go down compared to the last year, 3.6 million, 16% down from the 4.3.15. H2 sales are up over H1, up 11%. And the Q4 sales up 15%, 0.97 million. And we've done that during a process of significantly cutting costs. So, it's a great thing when you're reducing your outgoings and your revenue's growing. And, not to mention the 2 new major retail listings that we've achieved just in the last few months since the Novel Food Register was published on the 31st of March. Not being on that list not being published was like a noose around the neck of the business trying to gain new major retail. And we've invested so much into being brand and to being a brand that's on the high street. And throughout the period of that year, we never attained any new major retail listings. And that had a direct result on the revenue. But today, where we sit today, we're in a positive place with a forward-moving trajectory. I think, another really good positive highlight is the units sold. Nearly 240,000 units sold over the period, which is a new record amount of units going out. Obviously that in conjunction with revenue going down is because the vast majority of those sales went into retail, obviously where there's smaller margins. But it does mean that more consumers than ever are using Love Hemp. And that's fantastic for the brand. It means there's more awareness, more people using it, more people talking about it, more people benefiting from it. But yeah, for me, the real highlight out of everything is the inclusion on the Novel Foods Register, because that means we can go out and win more big business. We've got 2 under our belt, and really excited for the ones that are going to come forward over the course of the next year.
So Tony, though we've have a reduction in revenue, the 3.6 million with reduced costs, is this worth more to the company than the 4.3 million with the higher cost structure?
It's not that straightforward because it depends on the revenue split and where it's coming from. Our accounts are still unaudited, so it's very early for me to start talking about profitability levels. But what I can say is that during the period of H2, we have made a very strong move towards profitability. So we're moving in the right direction. But yeah, to do a comparison to the prior year, I'm not in a position to give those details, because we need to be absolutely certain of those numbers before we say anything to the market.
Let's take a step back to the fact that the company had to suspend. Tell us what happened as much as you can.
We announced a raise for 2 million. 1.2 million did not make it, and we had a resignation from the advisor. And that is the reason, for our understanding, why we were delisted, because you need a financial advisor attached to the company being listed on AQUIS. And as stated in the announcement, we are having conversations now with a potential advisor, which is going really well. Relisting is something that we're taking really seriously. It's a big focus for us right now. That is one of the main focuses: get relisted, get an advisor on board, deal with AQUIS. So, I do apologise to shareholders for the situation that we're in. It's not what we want, but it is something we're taking seriously, and we're taking the appropriate actions. And I'm confident, very confident, that we will relist.
Yeah, and I'm sure at that time the air must have been blue around lots of things that were going on, because it was obviously, yeah, it's not really in your control what was happening. So frustrating, but at the same time, what can you do about it?
Yeah, it was a very unfortunate set of circumstances, but it's just something that we have to deal with, work through the details, and then move forward. But like I said, I'm confident we will relist. It's just a matter of time. And yeah, just appreciate shareholders' patience in the meantime while we work through these details.
Yeah, I mean, we don't like to put timescales on things, but we're talking about relisting this year.
I want to be cautious, staying away from timescales.
Very wise, very wise.
I will just reiterate that it's an absolute priority. For the business, and it's something that from on our half we're working through as quick as we can.
Tell us a little bit about what's been happening in the cost cutting, and physically what have you been doing? Have the management taken pay cuts? Have the staff had less going out? What's been happening? Tell us more.
So the operational review that was conducted was systemic throughout the entire business. It wasn't just cost cutting. We were looking at suppliers, we were looking at our partners, our distributors, who's going out and selling our product, how are they selling it, what are our product offerings. It was a meticulous operation, which is still ongoing, and as a result, we've had major changes at senior management, and we've had major changes at board level as well, as you've seen. And the impact of these changes in the management and leadership of the business is already having a tangible effect, which is great to see. In regards to the cost cutting, we've reduced headcount and we've renegotiated certain costs in the business. We've reanalyzed how we're purchasing and who we're purchasing from, in the sense of the raw materials that we use to make our products, how we produce our products. It has been a very in-depth process, and it's been a really, really successful one.
So talking about the different listings, what about the Amazon? Obviously there was a big thing made about Amazon and getting the product, moving it up the list, because it doesn't seem to appear, almost on the first page. Yeah. How do you feel the Amazon listing is going?
So Amazon, we had a late start, which really put us behind. And one of the key things for Amazon is to get more reviews. That's what really determines your positioning. It's like the equivalent of your search engine optimization on Google. But in the last few months, we've had a big focus on driving that, and we have been getting some good, consistent reviews coming in now, and the products have started to rank better. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but it's something, again, that's being dealt with as a priority in the business, because we see Amazon as such a huge potential revenue driver. CBD on Amazon now is well in excess of £1 million a month. Anyone can go and do that search on Amazon and see those numbers. So it's an exciting space, and it's one that we feel we should be leading. eBay, launched not so long ago, and we were one of the first brands I believe we were the first brand to launch that day, and then some other brands launched later that same day. And each month we're maintaining a leadership position on eBay, so that's going well. But yeah, if anyone wants to help us buy some products on Amazon, leave us a review.
There you go, listeners. There you go.
Investment.
There's a task for you.
How does that work then, Tony, in terms of your profitability when you sell through Amazon or you sell through, let's say, is it Holland and Barrett? Which is likely to be more profitable? Because we've seen on the high street Holland and Barrett buy one and buy another one for a penny and all that sort of stuff. So is it a better business decision to be able to sell significantly more through eBay and through Amazon than to go through the retailers?
So I'll go into that now, but what I will say first is, if you can't beat them, join them. And over 60% of product searches now start on Amazon. So us and many other businesses, I feel, if you're competing for revenue, you don't have an option but to give your business to Amazon, because they're so dominant in the online shopping space. But, in regards to profitability levels, it's a sliding scale. D2C, when we sell direct to the customers on the website, is obviously our highest margin. Then you move over to like the semi D2C distributor, which is Amazon, eBay, where it is direct to consumer, but it's not, because you manage the listings, but they do the they do the selling and they take their commissions. So then that kind of, you've got your middle profitability level, and then at the lower end is major retail. And the main reason is you're paying for that premium shelf space. Because we do all of our own manufacturing, we're in a unique position where our margins on the cost of goods, I believe, is as healthy as they could be, and gives us as much breathing room as anyone else, if not more.
Okay. And how's the factory now? Is it finished? Is it producing? What's the situation with the place that you set up in London?
So we're still producing the bottling line from our original site. All of the offices are moved over, and we're hoping the clean room bits will be finalised literally in the coming months. There's been a lot of changes and modifications to suit the business. But yeah, we're nearly there for a full move. But other than excluding our Manchester office in Croydon, I would say 85-90% of staff are working on the new site now. So we're getting there.
So I saw in you signing off the RNS the comment that you want to make the brand more visible internationally. Are you going to try and leverage the UFC deal to do that?
Yeah, we announced last year the UFC partnership. We made a point of the opportunity with the license range, and that's something that we're still working hard towards to make a reality. It's frustrating. It's taking longer than we wanted. There's been, a crazy amount of obstacles over the last year, but, we've worked through them, and, I do feel we're on the cusp of making that a reality sooner than later. Again, difficult to be precise on timelines, but the UFC license range as a global product is of high topic of conversation within the company at the moment.
So I guess to wrapping up in a nutshell, you're still extremely confident and believe in the company, despite the fact that it's currently suspended. You're confident that an advisor will be availed, and that trading will resume, and that you can continue to move Love Hemp forward to become an international global dominance in the CBD space.
Yes, 100%. Honestly, the sentiment in the company right now is so positive. It's honestly, it's buzzing. The changes that have happened over the last few months with the operational review have how we operate, how we behave. It's changed us into a different business. We're so much more mature, aware, and I'm genuinely excited for the future. I believe where we are today, we're in a strong position, and I'm really looking forward to the results that we can achieve over the next year in regards to revenue and that move towards profitability with the reduced costs that we have. And, like I said before, the fact that the novel foods obstacle is now out of our way, we can really go out and win those new major retail listings. And that's where the opportunity is to grow revenue quite quickly and quite significantly. And today we're still UK centric, and on a downturn, we've still done the best part of £4 million. So I think that's a strong position to be in. With our partnerships with the UFC and AJ, I think we have all of the tools that we need to become a global business.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of acting on it.
Do you think you almost tried to run before you could walk? Do you look back and think we maybe invested a bit too much into the deal too soon? You know what I mean? And you were talking about rolling out in Asia a lot quicker than you did. If you could change anything, what would you change?
I wouldn't say it was a case of running before we could walk. I think time is always of the essence, and we want to move quick. We wanted to move quick. We still want to move quick. But, sometimes things just don't work out as you wanted to. And, if certain things happened in a different way, and if, a cookie here or there just crumbled in a slightly different way, then, certain things would have happened differently. But, there's been a lot of external impacts on businesses recently between COVID and the geopolitical situation. When those things started kicking off, you wouldn't imagine the different ways that it could be impacting businesses, some for the better, some for the worst.
I mean, it's no stranger. We've seen on Twitter that I think some of the pictures of you had quite a recent trip to Las Vegas. I believe you visited the UFC. How did it all go out there? Were you encouraged by the meetings you had?
Oh yeah, it was it was amazing. We did the partnership last year, and again, for one reason or another, COVID was a big part of it. Was not able to get out of there. We've met a few of the UFC execs when they came over for London and for odd meetings here or there. But it was the first time I got to go to the HQ. got to meet all of the team, got to meet people from IMG, from licensing, from the Performance Institute, and start to really build strong relationships so that we can synergize the partnership that we have with them. So we actually have, we started a YouTube channel recently, and we're just waiting for approval from the UFC, but we created a little blog of the trip. So it's a 2-part YouTube video. So anyone who's not following our YouTube, give it a follow. Hopefully in the next few weeks, those videos will go live and you'll get a little insight into the trip that happened.
Yeah, you should have sponsored Paddy the Baddy about a year ago.
Yeah. Paddy is an interesting character. He's all the life right now. Very entertaining to watch.
Scousers for you, mate. Scousers. What can I say?
Yeah. We do have our very own Scouser in the business, so we do have one.
Yeah. So did you go to or have any thing in London in terms of when the UFC came for Love Hemp?
We didn't do any activations. Cash is tight right now. We can be transparent on that, and it's something that we're managing very carefully. So we're focusing, all of our spend on, preserving the core of the business and only marketing initiatives that have almost an immediate return on investment. I feel last year we made a lot of long-term brand investments. And obviously now where the company needs to perform, it's important that we drill down on every penny that we spend. So, but I think for the next London event, which might be in 4 to 6 months, we might look to do something on a larger scale then. But yeah, we kept it very simple for UFC London this year.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have the products to actually sell, then maybe it's not wise at this moment to spend that money. So it's like, it seems sensible to do that.
Yeah, if we had the UFC license range, it would be perfect. Obviously, there's still massive amounts of authenticity between the core range and UFC athletes and the fans. But if you want to do an exhibition stand with staff and product, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. So I think you need to be calculated when you do those types of activations.
You mentioned cash then. So obviously the money came in from the raise and 1.2 million of it didn't come in. So how does the company sit then in terms of the going forward and being able to maintain its situation?
Yeah, as we are today, we're ticking along just fine month to month. Like I said, cash is tight, but we're managing it exceptionally well. One of the positives of that is that it forces you to be resourceful, which means we're being incredibly efficient at the moment. And thankfully, we have already made a lot of long-term brand investments, which we're still reaping the benefits of, and we will do for many years. So actually, we've started the process for recruiting a permanent CFO for the business now. That's well underway. We've already been speaking to candidates. And as soon as we find the right person, we'll place them. And I think a CFO is going to be so important for the business, for financial rigor, control, long-term planning. And so I'm really looking forward to getting a CFO who can sit side by side with me on that side of the business.
On the RNS, you talked about the company being specific about the types of uses that Love Hemp's products are going to be aimed at. And really, though, we've talked a lot about the financials and the issues that I've had with Love Hemp, but the real issue behind people using CBD is to improve their lives. So those particular areas, why did you choose them? I think you've chosen sleep, anxiety, and maybe a few others. I don't remember the exact ones on the RNS. So can you tell us a bit more about that?
We've always been a brand-led business. We've always put the consumer at the center of everything we do. And we ask ourselves on an ongoing basis, what can we do to serve the customers better? So, we do market research sporadically. And one thing that we wanted to find out was, why are people using CBD? Because ultimately, when people buy a Love Hemp product or another CBD product, they're not buying CBD. They're buying a solution to a problem that they have. And what the data showed us was the common core problems of sleep, pain, anxiety, stress, performance and recovery. There was some more as well outside of that, such as focus and so on. So, CBD is an incredible product, and on its own, for many people, it's incredibly effective. But now with our product development, we're looking to take it to the next stage and create products specifically for the use cases where we can add ancillary hero ingredients that can support and synergize the effect of CBD. An obvious one would be if you're making something for your joints. I'm sure everyone's heard of glucosamine, so you could do CBD and glucosamine would be a very simple answer. Obviously, we're going far more in depth on the products that we're developing than that. But yeah, it's based on data, speaking to consumers, to our customers, people who aren't our customers, Zoom calls, sitting down face to face with them, market research. And yeah, we're going to drill home on what people need and what they're telling us they need.
Yeah, so it's not just going to be, I buy CBD, I feel a bit better because of CBD. No, it's going to then be a bit more targeted and a bit more specific. I buy this particular product because it has CBD and X, which helps me sleep better, reduces my anxiety.
Yeah, it gives you so many more opportunities and avenue for your marketing, because you can really start to drill down and target your demographics based on the product and what it's supposed to be treating. So yeah, I think particularly for the online side of the business and for the marketplaces like Amazon and eBay, I think this new product development is going to serve the business really well and serve the consumers well, which obviously will result in more revenue, right?
From the perspective of the shareholders, have you got anything else you'd like to say to them?
I just want to reiterate, the positive sentiment that's in the business now, the people who are living and breathing Love Hemp every day, who wake up thinking about their responsibilities and going to sleep with their responsibilities. The company is in one of the best positions it's been in for a long time. We've made such significant, great changes which are having tangible impacts. And I'm truly excited to continue the success that we had of H2 into the next year. Costs are down, revenue's up, we've got more retail listings agreed, looking to agree more, global expansion, in the horizon. We've got a big focus on new product development now. We're going to be looking to launch a lot of new products, over the next few quarters, which is, hopefully going to generate even more revenue. So we've got a lot going for us. I know the business has been in a difficult position. H1 was tough. But where we sit today, I'm happy. I'm buzzing for the future.
Great to hear your enthusiasm and passion is still very much alive. And it's a pleasure, Tony. So thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Kevin. Always a pleasure, guys. Appreciate it.
This podcast was brought to you by Roast PR Limited. If you would like to appear on a future episode of The Sunday Roast, please email admin@thesundayroast.net.